Yo, what's up guys, it's zaqq. Welcome back for part 2 of the Wolf PvP commentary. So in part 1 we did cover a few of the fights, just a few of the small fights really that were had during the time flying the Wolf on the live stream. Lots and lots of fun, like some of the best fun I've had for a long time, bar the Daredevil stuff, right? So very interesting ship. There's quite a lot of ways you can actually fit it, and I'm going to offer up 4 fits for you guys, ranging from like mega dirt cheap to pretty expensive, I would say, for the Wolf. But yeah, let's dive right into it. Alright guys, so here's the Wolf fit I've been flying mostly on the stream. So this is the Bling version of the one I fly. So it's still like not massively expensive though when you think about it. So 172mm estimated right now. I have seen it as low as like 154 depending on what the jitter market's like. But this is including like the drugs and everything. So I mean the Quafe Zero for example, that's like 16mm of that cost. But yeah, let's dive into the fit and then we can get a little bit deeper into the numbers and stuff. So we've got the 280mm Howitzer II Artillery IIs. Absolutely insane alpha from those. They're the biggest ones you can put on the frigates. Coreli A-type Microwarpdrive, Caldari Navy Warp Disruptor, really effective. Again, getting into the stats shortly. Gyrostabilizer for the damage, tracking enhancer for the added fall off and tracking. Very nice as well, and the tracking speed too. 2 nanofibers for the extra speed and maneuverability, that's mega important. And ancillary armor repair just to give yourself some sustain during the fights. A projectile collision accelerator for damage, helping the guns. Small ancillary current router just to help with the fitting because it is like mega tight. There's no implants used on this, so you can, if you need to use the fitting, I think you would get away with that if your skills aren't like too high. I think the biggest issue with this is the collision accelerator takes up quite a lot of grid on this for being just like having 66 in general. So if your skills are a little bit lower or you haven't trained the rigging skill up, you might have to use an implant. The usual amount of ammo and stuff, just take whatever you want really, personal preference. I would recommend if you're flying the Bling fit just to take an extra bit of Nanite Paste as well. So I mean I've got 350 in here, I think that's quite enough. So we've got 8 for the ancillary repair, but what I found most of the time, like I'm always overheating the artilleries like as much as I can, and man, these take like so much to fix. Like an almost burnt out set will take like about 60 or 70 to repair, so that is quite a lot. So just keep that in mind with how much nanite you're taking. For drugs in this Bling version of the fit, we've got the Quafe Zero and the Agency Overclocker 2. I'm not sure why that's a 2. I think that's usually a 3. Sorry guys. And we've got a Synth drop booster as well. Oh, the camera's just derped out there. And that gives us a tracking speed bonus of 6%, which is really strong actually, with no drawbacks being a Synth one. So 6% is totally worth it. Imagine just like paying for a 6% tracking implant, right? You'd be paying through the teeth. But yeah, that's the overall fit I've been having the most success with. So we'll quickly talk about the numbers and stuff, and then we'll get on with the salt damage control fit, because a lot of people still use that and it is actually really, really good guys. So if I'm just looking at EFT here for the, in fact we'll just take the drugs just so you get the live stats on the screen, right? Consume all of them. Get that back there. So the default speed of this thing, I might have to simulate it. So now with all the drugs in and everything, we're going 4,158. That's pretty damn fast, right? And if we overheat, we're doing just under 6k. That's like crazy. So it does do about 5.6 without drugs. Just keep that in mind. So that's still like massively quick. But yeah, it's like insanely fast, this ship. The nanos definitely help. I think the assault damage control unit one is about 400 ms slower when it's heated and 200 ms slower when it's not heated, so that's not too bad, but I think that's not like including the drugs either. But yeah, so getting back to the fit then, the 280mm artilleries, they do a massive alpha of like 1441 HP, and like if you're fighting another wolf and he's got like explosive loaded and you haven't got your damage control, you've only got a 10% resistance, and he's probably just going to like alpha your armor straight off. That's how like strong this this ship is, right? The alpha is absolutely insane. People don't really like account for it pretty much. I think now like the Arty wolf's pretty much known to be, if you see a wolf in null, it's going to be Arty like pretty much 9 times out of 10. So there is that like, right, are we going to fight it or we're not? But like you've just got to be really careful when you're fighting other wolves if they're using like explosive and stuff, because you can just get wrecked so fast. But against lasers, you can see the 90% EM and 68% thermal resistance is absolutely insane. So retributions, confessors, omens, navy omens, things like that, you can just absolutely shrek. It's pretty insane. You noticed that in the couple of fights yesterday with the confessor and the retri, had no issues like fighting them, and you can be pretty ballsy. You can pretty much go in if you know the confessor's long point or whatever, and then maybe keep range just to help your tracking and stuff, bar orbiting and things. And usually in nullsec, where I do most of my PvP, it is long point stuff, so the retribution's pretty much well known for beam fits with a long point and things like that, so you've just got to play the fights by ear, right? But yeah, absolutely insane. So that's all we're numbers there. I think the speed and the damage is pretty much the important two, right? The drugs were just took. So we've got the Quafe Zero, which gives us a velocity modifier of 5% and a scan resolution of 5% as well, which is pretty good. Synth drop booster, there's no drawbacks on that with the 6% tracking speed, which is really, really nice. And the agency overclocker, like I said, it should be a 3% I normally take, but in this case we've took the 2. So we'll get 2 hours on the Quafe and hour reach on the Synth drop. So usually what I would do, pop the Quafe straight away as soon as I needle, and I've got like 2 Synth and 2 overclockers to take just to hold the 2 hours up. So yeah, pretty insane. Another thing I will say about the Bling version, which is why I prefer it more over the standard, let's just knock that off. It is actually stable with the rep off, and the cheap version isn't, because we're using just like the quad lift and the T2 warp disruptor, and that's like, the T2 warp disruptor takes so much energy to use, it's just absolutely insane, so much cap. I don't think people realize just how much it takes until you actually look at it. And with the Caldari Navy warp disruptor, we get a couple of kilometers more of disruption range, and heated it goes all the way to 31, so that's really well like needed in my opinion. If you don't want to fly like total Bling, at least Bling the warp disruptor, because that'll keep you stable even with a quad lift, right? So very important. I had loads of issues when I first started flying the cheaper fit with this, but if you can find like a fast fight, it's fine. But obviously if you're trying to sustain yourself like fighting a Gila for ages, you know, if you're killing like a rat and ship or something, which takes a little bit of time because of the tank and things, you could run into cap issues, and I have done in the past. Alright guys, this is the cheap version. This is the one I started out flying on stream, because we're fighting like all the time and we're losing quite a bit of ISK and stuff. So it's 64 mil right now estimated jitter cost, but I've had this as low as 50. It's like insane. Like the 50 mil for all this power you get, it's like absolutely crazy. So comparing that to the Daredevil, I mean that's like 90 mil or something. Pretty similar like flight style and things, so you're saving yourself like 40-50 mil every time you fly, and I think you're getting a better ship in general. The Daredevil's still really good. I know it's hard to compare because you get like the main web bonus on that thing, but it's a similar kitey style with the rails and things. But yeah, this is exactly the same damage and everything. The only difference between this one and the Bling is the T2 and the quad lift in the mids and the drug changes. So starting off with the drugs, instead of the 16 mil or 15 mil Quafe Zero, because obviously that adds quite a bit of cost to the ship, we swap that for a X Instinct booster, which gives us a 4.5% reduction in signature radius modifier, which again, this being an assault frigate, we get that minus 50, so it stacks on top of that, and it really helps the survivability. The Overclocker 2, or you can take a 3, whatever you want, right? Just again, keeping it cheap. And we've got with drop booster again, just for track and speed. So I think they're pretty cheap in general. I mean, what are these? Like 2 mil? What's this one? 3.7. And the Instinct's like less than a mil. So yeah, take the drugs or don't take the drugs. But if you're only going to take one of them, I would definitely take the Overclocker, because like speed's the king here, you know, like that mitigates more damage than anything else. So yeah, the only issue with this fit I had was the cap time, and that's why I started blinging the mid slots to really help like the cap, you know, so it could be stable. So that like 2 minutes in a fight, it doesn't seem like a long time, depending on what you're fighting, right? I think against like other frigates and like interceptors, it's fine, but I had more issues like killing ratters with this fit, you know, when you're having to sustain in the fight for ages, you're orbiting around just like lazy orbiting for ages and ages, trying to chew through Gila tanks. Like 2 minutes isn't long enough, and I lost quite a few like kills due to the cap on this thing. So yeah, that sucks pretty much, but again, keeping it cheap, you know. One option I would say, if you take off the T2 point, because this thing actually, it takes so much energy to use, guys. If you're only going to use like one Bling thing, just put a Caldari Navy Warp Disruptor on, and now you've got like 15 minutes cap, so you're pretty much stable for the duration, right? And it's much better. So obviously with the rep on, it's still pretty low. But I think like sustainability, again, like I say, if you're killing ratters or whatnot, or if you're just in a small gang, like warping around all the time and your cap's like already low, like having this like warp disruptor is super important in my opinion. Or you can bling the Microwarpdrive and keep the T2 point, up to you. But yeah, that's just my opinion on that, guys. Just to let you know, like cap issues and stuff. But you fly it exactly the same way as the Bling version. And yeah, it's pretty fun, right? Okay, for the final fit for the Wolf, a friend of mine, zaqq, he was watching the stream the other day when I was flying my Wolf, and I asked him to link as the assault damage control unit version he flies, because anyone knows like the ADCU is just absolutely insane. Look at these resistances. So you get this for about 9 seconds, which is can save your life in a lot of situations. So yeah, zaqq was kind enough to send us one of these ships over, even though I only asked for the fit. So I do thank you very much for that, zaqq. That's much appreciated, dude. It really helps, like obviously the video and stuff, right? So yeah, let's go over zaqq. It looks exactly the same, bar a couple of things. So we've still got the 280s on. We've got a cold gas enduring Microwarpdrive, and we've got a storyline warp disruptor. Now that still gives the same as a T2, but with like really lower cap use and stuff. So, and I believe it's 10 mil cheaper than the Caldari Navy. Let's just see if we're stable. Yeah, so actually more stable than a Caldari Navy, I would think, or pretty much similar. Plus we're saving 10 mil. Yeah, so it is semi-bling, this one. Gyrostabilizer II, Trend Enhancer, Nano, small Ansi, and the big difference here obviously being the ADC, you're right. So those resistances are crazy for like 9 seconds, really helps you get out of a tight spot. And really the only difference is the -1 nano, right? So you've got to take into consideration, do you think a nano's better than having an extra assault damage control? And man, looking at this, I mean, I think I did mention earlier the speed with the drugs and everything. It's 200 ms slower, non-heated, and heated with 400 ms slower. So really, I would probably go with this fit, to be honest, if you can like afford it, right? It's still like super mega cheap, like guys. It's still like 80 mil. So yeah, appreciate you sending that over again, zaqq. Awesome. I think I'll start using this one actually, because it'll probably save us in a few fights. Some stuff got close, you know, on stream the other day. So yeah, pretty nice. I will be flying a mega pimp version of this just for the lols on stream. So yeah, we'll have a look. Right guys, the final fit for the Wolf isn't really a Wolf, it's actually called a Pua's Wolf. So what we're all in is a Rifter, and you know what it is, I never really gave this a thought while I was recording all the Wolf stuff. There was a guy commented on one of my live streams after it was done. I'm really sorry, I can't find your comment anywhere, dude, so I just want to say thanks for bringing the Rifter to my attention. You know, it's not something I would even consider flying these days, but he said he was flying it just to do some practice for like when he gets in his Wolf or whatnot, and it's like dirt cheap, guys. I mean, look at this, 17.3 mil estimated right now for everything, including the hull. It's absolutely insane. So I went about building a Rifter version, obviously, and it's definitely like a Pua's Wolf. It's exactly the same speed and everything. It still does like 5.6k heated when you're going out. I mean, with the drugs, yeah, we're going like 5.8, so it's just absolutely insane. 200 ms slow on the top end heated, I would say. But yeah, let's talk about this. So we've got -1 gun, right? So we've only got 3 280 mil Howitzer Artilleries, so it's still not bad. But again, if you look at the damage here, so we've got 117 DPS versus the 208, and the biggest difference here is the alpha strike, right? It's like less than half of what the Wolf does, but that doesn't mean that that's like really poor. If you had a couple of these Rifters, sorry, you could actually like do a lot of damage, and I really want to get a couple of the boys together and jump into nullsec and use these Rifters, just because of the fact like they're ridiculously cheap. I mean, if you imagine if you had 4 or 5 of these, you could be really pesky, like around even ratters and stuff. Obviously flying the Rifter versus the Wolf does come with like massive drawbacks on tank, and especially the cap, right? So one of the biggest issues with this is the capacitor. But luckily we do get an extra mid slot over the wolf, so I chucked in a small capacitor booster. I was actually looking for the micro ones, but they've actually been taken out of the game, which is a sad face. And we don't run this with Navy 400s, we actually run this with 200s because the cap itself is only 250 gigajoules with the Microwarpdrive on, right? So if you put a 400 in, you're going to be just wasting like half of that. So at least we get 2 charges of full cap, which is very, very nice. And we're actually like not far off having a good amount of cap just for, especially having a T2 point, right? So if you were absolutely nuts and put a Caldari Navy on here, you would probably be like mega stable, especially with the cap booster. So just yeah, little fun things you can think about. But yeah, I was like mega impressed with the Rifter. So in the rigs as well, we've got a polycarbon, the overclocking unit for the fit, and the ancillary current router, I think, which costs more than the actual hull, which is insane to think about. But other than that, I tried to keep it as close to the bull fit as possible, which I think I did, bar the cap stuff. And yeah, we take drugs or whatever, you know, if you want to just keep it super cheap. So again, if you like the look of the wolf and you want to practice the play style and the flight style of the hull itself, it's like I say, it's pretty much cock on speed, like 1-to-1 of the wolf, and it's just a lot of fun, guys. You know, you can set your orbits, do some lazy orbiting in this thing around some ratters and stuff, get some friends together and just have so much fun. Something like this would be really good in red versus blue as well. A buddy of mine has joined that recently, and I think I might stick my head in there again and take some fleets out to null, because apparently they're itching for some pew pew over there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much covered everything, guys. Alright guys, that's all of the wolves covered, and man, that's super fun Rifter. I'm going to start using that quite a lot over this weekend. But yeah, let us know what you think, guys, and as always, I will catch you in the next one.